Welcome, reading one. Welcome to this first quarter moon reading. The first quarter moon energy is about taking action. So today the dragons wanted to speak with us, and we're using a supplemental deck as well called The Answer is Simple. And the interesting thing is the Answer is Simple deck is all about the ego. And dragons are like the opposite. The dragons don't have ego. It's not, ego, as far as I understand, comes from other, obviously humans, energy. But, animals can have ego too. The animals can have ego. So I'm not quite sure where you need to take action, but I want to show you your card a little bit closer. So it is the Avebury Matriarch. So where do you need to take action on your journey at this time? In real time, today is July 2nd, 2025, but of course they're always timeless. And this beautiful Avebury Matriarch is number 13, which is also the number of the witch, the goddess energy, and they're from the Earthwalk dragons. There are 4 different dragon realms, clans, as I think she calls them clans in this one. Yeah, clans. So we have Earthwalk, the Galactic, the Grand Master, and the Guardian Dragons. If you are drawn to any other of the other dragons, please feel free to speak with them. But remember that the dragons are no bullshit. So like if you show up and it's not your message, you'll soon see very soon like whether you should be there or not be there. But I'm saying that because one thing that's been coming through, not a lot and not for everybody, this may even be for one person. But I understand that when you start coming into your gifts, it's so easy to get carried away. It's so easy to get a little cocky and to be like, look at me, like I'm better than everybody else. But you're not. We're all the same. We're just different levels of consciousness and different paths. And if you found yourself here on this channel and you're new, welcome. And for those of you who keep coming back, welcome back. But I am Tallulah Kelly, the magical medium. And I am here to guide you and basically just put the breadcrumbs there for you to connect with your higher self. If you found yourself here, you're very powerful, light worker, healer, witch, angel, whatever you identify with, maybe all of the above. But that means that you're here for a purpose. Like you have something worthwhile to do and to say. Not saying that the other humans don't. It's just that, we can see what's happening in this big, bowl of soup right now. I mean, it's like a cauldron of soup, really. It's massive kind of craziness out there. But Spirit doesn't want us to look at the quote unquote craziness of it. They want us to look at the destruction of it. But the best part about it is, every time something breaks down, burns, crumbles, you have to rebuild it. And what's really interesting right now is that we are in the form of revelations in the Bible, so to speak, in the Christian Bible. We are in the form of revelations, but it's also a tower card moment like the tarot. So everything has to break down completely for it to rebuild. So when you're seeing people in your orbit or, feeling certain energies coming through from the third dimensional energy, just remember that you were there too. And they will awaken eventually, or they won't, or they'll die like that. And that's okay too, because it's going to be where the norm isn't going to be. Let's put it this way. Hold on. I'm going to go shut my door. All of a sudden it just started getting creaky. I feel like this is for you. But right before I came on here, I was really drawn to go online, and I don't normally do that before readings, but I was really drawn to do it. So I did. And I saw that, that P. Diddy, like the worst horrible things that he did were basically he got away with. And it's interesting because people, I didn't get into all that, but obviously people are outraged and they're like, what the fuck? Like, who's being paid where, right? Like, come on. I mean, these people are giving testimonies. There's people all over. A lot of celebrities have been really quiet around it because, certain moguls, like billionaires, like people are afraid that if it's tied into like their life, their home, their livelihood, it gets a little scary for people. And so they'll keep their mouth shut instead of speaking their truth. And I feel like this is time for you to speak your truth and take some action. Hold on, I'm going to shut this door. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm glad that came about because I meant to do that. If I don't leave my door, like I have to secure it open, because if I don't, the wind gets so crazy and it just like knocks everything out. But yeah, I'm just getting this vibe from you guys that that there's something that you're either doing or not doing that is causing like the strife in your life right now. So maybe we'll put a pin in that for now, because there's so many things coming through all of a sudden. Right when I did that and came back, all of a sudden it was like, I felt like such clarity. So let's go into the card first, because the dragons are here and their time is precious. And I know time is a man-made construct, but still, you know, it's an energy. So their energy is precious and they're here to guide us. So I want to honor them. So it says, this dragon comes in with the strength and power to delve deep into our ancestral past and bring healing. She usually follows the matriarchal line back through the passage of time. She states, the time has come to release the chains that bind the continued pain from your ancestors, which has been passed down from generation to generation. You do not need to own this, as it is not and never was your pain to bear. She reassures us it is safe to explore old family hurts and release them to her. If she has shown up today in your reading, ask for her wisdom to guide you in the best way to heal the past and move forward in your life. She says, I will guide you to discover the best way you can heal and leave the pain of your ancestral past behind. Old family wounds only fester on a deeper level if not acknowledged and released. They serve you no purpose in your journey now. If the Avebury matriarch has flown into your awareness today, she wants you to visit an old natural temple, stone circle, or other ancient sacred site and connect to the energy of the land there. She asks you to ground yourself, be still, and ask for her guidance. Due to her connection with the Avebury henge, she carries an incredibly ancient energy, that of the old ways, the shamanic healing of the ancestors of England. Her wisdom is as ancient as the land itself. Oh, that's so interesting, because when I was reading that, there's a few places. I live on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington, in North America, and I literally have been. I feel like this. Right? Like I feel like something's calling me. You know, it's like calling. It's calling. It's calling. And the whole peninsula that I live on is like really old Native American medicine, and I have Cherokee running through my veins. So there's a lot of interesting things that have been coming up lately. And same for like a week straight, I was just like eating like shit and like crying and just missing my familiar who passed 5 months ago, missing my mom who died almost a year ago, and just like all of these things, and you know, my marriage like obliterated. And so it was just been like the toughest year of my life. So I feel for you. Whatever you're going through though, like you have to go through it. I kept trying to, and it's funny because, you know, this is my job and this is what I do every day, right? But right? Like I'm human here. I want to avoid it. I'm like, oh, I've healed that. Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, like, of course, I'm naturally mourning. Of course, my best friend of 13 years just died, right? Like, of course, she's not with me every single day, all the time, you know, especially because she was a cat, right? So, you know, she did leave the property with us and go camping and stuff, but not often. So, you know, it's like I'm at home most of the time. So it was like, I mean, all day long, I was like, hey, Bubba, what are we going to do? Bubba, what do you want for dinner tonight? I mean, it was like, she was like a person, you know, like a human being to me. Plus, she's dragon. She's definitely been a dragon in another life. So I was just like, not having her presence here was awful. And she came to me in the year of the dragon, and she left me in the year of the dragon. And it was just so intense and so surreal. So, you know, I'm sharing this experience with you because I feel like there's something that you're just, you know, maybe it's the death of a pet, a friend, a family member, you're familiar, maybe it's a parent. But I just feel like there's something you're not like dealing with. And this year is one of the most powerful years of energy we've ever had on planet Earth in terms of like the tower moment, like I said. So the more you here's the good news. The more you release, this wants to come in. It's like they're just trying to give you some. So oops, sorry, I dropped my water. So, I was told, or no, I think I researched this. Hold on, my water fell. I just had to pick it up. It's called, hold on. And I think somebody said it was a green onyx, but I don't know if it is or not. I have to say, so if you are somebody who's really good with stones, they said it was, or according to the picture, like, I mean, my partner and I, like, at the time, I was like, dude, I'm like, that's got to be it, right? He's like, yeah, but it could be something else. It's so freaking heavy. Ugh. I mean, you can hear how heavy it is. But I kind of feel like you guys need to get grounded. That's also a big part. So, and maybe it could be for some of you, it kind of looks like a rose right now. Oh, and it looks like a portal. There's so much happening right now. I'm like, you guys are so powerful. Oh, that's so amazing. I feel like deep down, you know what you need to do, but you're just not doing it. And this isn't like let's just put it this way. I'm opening the other deck right now. Let's find out what part of your ego is holding you back, because that's what I feel like is happening right here, right now. But definitely work with, you know, and you can call her Aveberry, you can call her Matriarch, you can call her, you know, AM, like whatever you want to call her. Ooh, this one came, oh, get over yourself. Yes, this is what I was, yeah. This, I have to be honest, reading one, I have to be honest. Like I mean, of course we want you to be, you know, proud of yourself and love yourself, and you know what I mean? Like I feel like for some of you, I'm literally hearing like, if you had any idea how hard or how long it took for me to love myself. So listen, I'm hearing that from Spirit. Okay, like I hear you, Spirit hears you. Look at how the wings going into, they had me move it. Look how the wings going into, this is a huge amethyst right here. We actually have a few different amethysts here. We have one back here, one here, and one here. So maybe get yourself some amethyst, which is a good healing stone. But also amethyst is the stone for addiction. So it could even be for some of you, maybe you're addicted to whatever. You know, let's see. I feel like there's more to come. I feel like there's more to be said. And these cards are really jumpy. So ego is definitely something you're dealing with. But anyway, all I was going to say earlier, what they're showing me now, it's tying back in, is like, that's fine. You know what? Let these people, let the American president, let these people, let like these, you know, leaders of these countries that are fucking doing all the, like, let them continue to do what they're doing, because they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And even though that's hard for people to understand right now, like they have a purpose too. So even if he got off, which he probably did, because when you have that much money, it is so fucking easy to buy people. It's like sad how easy it is. But the interesting thing is they've been saying things with jury tampering and all this. So I just feel like the whole thing is like, let's just put it this way. I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen to him because they're showing me variables. But basically, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen to him. Okay. But I forget which movie it was where the guy got off and everybody was like, what the fuck? Like, and it was like all like, you know, not good, and people were paid off and whatever. And of course people were like, I give up. Like, why even have a fucking jury? Why even have a system if it's never going to work for us? If it's always going to work for the rich and not the poor, like why go through the whole fucking, you know, fallacy, you know, play of this, you know, fakery and fuckery. But when they're leaving the courthouse, they get gunned down. Oh, no, look down, it was 1414. So that is your angel number to work with, 1414, which is also 55, which is also 10. And 10s are all about completion. Take away the 0, and it's a brand new start. So there's nothing, it's not like anything's lost, right? They had me do that because you're in the shadow. Look at where the light is hitting it. I was just going to move the card. It's almost like, just remember that whatever you're putting out into the world comes back to you tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. Karma never forgets an address, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But they're saying, keep the light between your mouths. So like I'm getting like one side of you is like living in the third dimensional world and one side of you is living in the fifth dimensional world. The dragons don't fuck around. You know, they may even have me put a disclaimer on this reading because I find I've been trying to candy coat this and be nice, because even this dragon, like she's really sweet and she's really kind and she's like really gentle and loving. That's where she's like, come talk, like when you want to work with your inner child, you want to work with some trauma, come work with me. Like that's what she's saying, like come work with her. She's amazing. But the dragon energy itself and this ego, like the answer is simple deck, you know what I mean? Like this is like saying you're making it harder than it is. The answer is simple. Stop living one foot in one world. Like I'm kind of getting this thing, and this might not be for everybody, but I'm kind of getting this thing like maybe you're at a family party and everybody's like talking smack about somebody or whatever, and you're like, yeah, they're fucking, I understand. Or maybe you just nod your head or whatever. And Spirit's like, yeah, but that's also, you know, because I did that for years until finally I just got so sick and tired of hearing people, especially would happen around my family and my friends, but definitely my family a lot. And they would talk shit on people. And I fucking hated it. I hated it. I thought it was fucking horrible. I'm like, finally one day I just stood up and I was like, you know what? I'm like, that's so gross. I'm like, you don't even know if that's true. And I'm like, you're going from an assumption. And 1616, which is also 77. Drink some water. Okay. So there's definitely something going on here with that, because see how like they had me put the crystals this way? Because it's almost like, so here's your third dimensional self that you can see a little bit more vividly, right? This one almost looks like a little tinge of blurry, right? Like they're looking in the mirror. And if you look at it this way, ooh, that's interesting. I was like, what do you want me to do? I got the vibe they wanted me to pick the card up, but I didn't understand why. And they wanted me to put these crystals in a certain respect too. So they want you to start really looking at yourself. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, 1706, is to stare in your eyes for 5 minutes in a mirror. 5 minutes. Time yourself. Put it on your phone. If you can go longer, go longer. And when you do that, I want you to talk to yourself. And even if you don't know what to say and you're like, hi self, like, trust me, your higher self will come through. You'll know exactly what to do. Because when you do that, you really see your soul and you don't see the avatar so much anymore, right? Like you see past this matrix, this bullshit. Like you see that like this is real and you are real and this experience is real. Because when you're with these other people, I feel like you're not speaking your truth because you're afraid of what they'll think of you. And you're still living in a fear-based society and a fear-based energy, which is the third dimensional energy. And the fifth dimensional energy, you have no fear. You speak your truth. You say it like it is, like how you feel. So I'm hearing from them, like, it's time for you to get very real about your gifts, your purpose, your path, and stop pretending like you're like everybody else, because you're not like everybody else. And this is your challenge to speak up. When people are talking shit or talking smack, like that's your obligation really to say, you know what? That person's not here to defend themselves. And even if they are being a schmuck or an asshole or whatever, you know, just be like, we don't know what's going on inside. You know, I didn't know, like, there were certain things, certain friends and family in my lifetime that around certain subjects or topics, they could be so icy or so like prudish or like just, I don't know. It was very interesting to me. And I'd be like, okay, what is going on there? And then like years later, I found out that like they had a tragic experience tied to that. And that's why. So sometimes when people go through a traumatic experience, you know, like recently I had this conversation with somebody and they were very serious about like, you know, my personal life and like my partner and I was trying to explain to them, you know, we're twin flames and we're going through something, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're both earth angels. We're both, you know, teachers, shamans, whatever. And so I said, that's why we are the way we are, you know, because of this and that. And she's like, you know, well, I think this and I think that. And I was like, yeah, because, and they kept talking about their own personal experience. I go, exactly, because you're telling me your personal experience. So everybody thinks they're going to fucking save everybody. Oh, I went through this. I understand this. I know. But do you know? Do they know? No, because they didn't walk in your shoes. They didn't live your story. Every relationship is different. Every person is different. So, it's like you can't really go by that. Also, I'm feeling like that hole needs to be filled in the middle. I feel like there's like some other, like, do you have any other messages for reading one, Spirit? Is it this one? Okay. Oh, look, they're like, dare to be happy, number 26. Also, interesting that get over yourself is number 1. We were just talking about endings and new beginnings. They're like, dare to be happy. So I'm hearing, get away from these people. There are some people that are just going to be the way they're going to be. And I kind of feel like Aveberry wants to come, like, I feel like she wants to be in the middle. Because she's like, dare to be happy. Dare to, like, and to be happy is to let go. To be happy is to let go and say, you know what? That's not my story. I'm going to see. I'm going to take this off. There we go. I needed it when we were, starting. The sun wasn't fully out yet, but look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. And then, it's like, because think of it this way. Whenever you're feeling any fear-based energy, whatever, blah, 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 look at the other person like you're looking at yourself. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to show you that if you're judging somebody, if you're, stopping talking to people is not judging. It's just saying like, you're where you are and I'm in a different place and I just don't want to be around your energy. Now, of course, that's going to come off to a muggle, as a third dimensional, like hasn't awakened yet. Of course, they're going to, think you're an asshole or think you're above them or whatever. But the irony is that's not where your ego is coming in. I feel like this wants to come over here. That's not where your ego is coming in. Get grounded in nature. I knew this mushroom wanted to come over here for a reason. And I'm feeling this wanted to come over here too. And I feel like water is really good for you guys, like water energy. So lakes, rivers, ocean, even a pool in your backyard. Ooh, 2211. If you're new here, when you hear me spout off numbers, they're angel numbers. If it sits with you, then it's your medicine. Go research it on your own. But if it doesn't, just let it fly by you. Ooh, 2222. Woo! Powerful. Baba's here. Hey, Baba. So my familiar's here. And you know what? It was really fucking hard when Baba died, But at the same time, like, she still talks to me. She still comes to me. We never die, you guys. We just change form. That's it. That's it. And look at how Aveberry, like, I feel like the dare to be happy, it was like, it's almost like it wants to be like this. Hold on. Like it's going into it. And I feel like Spirit's like, exactly, lean into it. Lean into the happiness, lean into the joy. And when you let go of these people who are stopping you from being your true self, when you really let them go, you will see that you never needed them in the first place, I mean, okay, so the Spirit and dragons are having me back up. Now, of course, if they were in your life, they were there for a reason, right? But some people, like family and like friends, sometimes it's, yes, they're in your soul contract. So they were there to like right now, they're there for their purpose, right? So you're like, I'm not like you, so I have to leave. And people ask me all the time, they're like, Lula, how come, like why, if we're these creatures, why weren't we, and brought here to help humanity? Like, how come we weren't, born into families like that? And it's like, well, if we incarnated in avatars, it's because we're really fucking powerful and we're warriors, and we wouldn't do this. We wouldn't be here if we didn't want to have the human experience. We'd be here, but we'd be in corporeal form. I think that's right? Like, so we'd be here in like spirit, but we wouldn't be here like in earth, like tangible. My family, my blood and bone, I don't talk to any of them. I got tired, 24. I got tired of them telling me who I was, who I wasn't, what I should be, what I shouldn't be. And, and then also like just being judged constantly, just the looks I'd get. It was like I'd walk into a family party and there'd be like a handful of people who would be happy I was there. The rest of them, 24. The rest of them, They can give a shit if I was there or not. In fact, they were glad. And you know, when my mom passed, as sad as it was, I was grateful because she was the only reason why I was still hanging on to my family. Because even though I miss a lot of my family, like dearly, there were other family members that were making it so fucking horrible. It was as if, I mean, it was just, it literally like as if they went out of their way to make me uncomfortable, so that I wouldn't show up, until finally I'm like, you know what, then I'm not going to show up anymore. The last 2 times I went for weddings and I tried so hard. I was like, can I help? Can I do anything? They're like, no. And then the very last time I was home, because my family lives in Illinois and I live in Washington State, and when I was there, I was actually like staying in the same hotel and the same hotel room with some of my family members, and they all went to the rehearsal dinner and I wasn't invited. And they're like, oh, it's just a small group of people, we don't really have the room. And I was like, okay, all right, like, but I heard through the grapevine they didn't want me there because I don't drink and I'm vegan, and like the restaurant they were going to was like kind of old school and they were serving family style, and they were like, they didn't want to make a big deal out of like me having a special meal because the other family was paying for it. And I'm like, I can pay for my own food. I'm like, and plus I'm like, I'll probably get a fucking salad. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I don't drink. I'm probably going to get like maybe a $15 item. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay. And I realized it's because it's like they didn't want them to get to know me. They didn't want them to hear, like it's like, I think they were terrified that I would say I was a medium, that I would, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, you know what, fuck you. And I meant that in the nicest way, like, fuck you. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. You don't accept me for who I am. You don't love me for who I am. And a few family members I confronted during that trip, and like some of them even told me to my face that they like me, or they don't like me, and they don't love me. Like, well, I mean, they love me, like, well, of course they don't want me to die because I'm a family member, but literally if I died, that they'd get over it. And so I was like, why do I keep coming here? Why do I keep trying with these people? I'm like, they don't fucking care. They don't want me here. And you know what? I got over it. I'm like, that's good for them. Let them live in there. Let them be happy. And now I was like, my mom's gone. They don't ever have to see me again or talk to me again. And if the other family members want to reach out to me, I'm always open. I'm always open. I love them. I will always be open to have a discussion and try. But no, I was like, fuck this. Because in every family, it's like right? Like, there was a time where we were like, I was in a certain place in the generations. So now I'm in the point where I'm more in like that's why I feel like it came up, matriarch, right? I'm in my 50s. So I was kind of like, now it's like there's no one above us, meaning like our level of family. Now everything's like, now I'm the great aunt. I'm not just an aunt, I'm a great aunt, right? So I was like, let these other women that are my age and my whatever, in my generation, let them be the fucking, let them. As Mel Robbins says, and a lot of people say she stole it from everybody else, but whatever, still. Let them hate you. Let them, you know what I mean? Who fucking cares? It doesn't matter. Their approval to you should not matter. They don't give a fuck. And for some of you, if you're in a situation where it's like they have money and power and they're going to get away with it, whatever, like P. Diddy, like, you know what? If you give people enough slack on the rope, they'll fucking hang themselves. Just let them. Like I said, let karma do her job. She's very good at it. She was literally created for it. And she is an energy as well, whether she's a fierce goddess and all that. Yes. And like different realms and dimensions and all that. But like in general, like she was created to show the fucking mirror to people. And if you truly want to be happy, then you need to step away from these people. What happened? Like, I had to say goodbye to my mom before she died. I hadn't talked to my mom in like 2.5 or 3 years, I think. And I found out my mom died because one of my siblings wrote it on my fucking YouTube channel under one of my readings and then made a joke about that, oh, I'm psychic, so I probably knew anyway. LOL. I'm like, okay, you have some issues. You know what I mean? I was just like, holy shit. And it's funny because I feel like an old version of me would have probably been like, you asshole, or like whatever. But instead it was like, I just sidestepped that because I went straight to, oh my gosh. And I was like, oh mom. And I had felt her and was having a dream. I knew the whole week leading up to it, I knew it was coming. And long story short, I didn't say goodbye because I wasn't meant to. Because my mother was a Southern Baptist Christian who thought I was the devil and thought my gifts were the devil. And a lot of my other family do too. We were born into these families and having these friends and your work, whatever it is, religious experiences, so that you can really feel what it feels like to be hated, to not be loved, to, but also realize that you are your only person you should care about. How you feel about yourself and how you put that out into the universe will respond. So I feel like some of you have this like, help me, help me, help me. I need help. And Spirit's like, you don't fucking need help. You have yourself. You have yourself to rely on. And every time you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, blah, 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 you go in that mirror again, you lock eyes with yourself in the mirror, and you get in and tap into your higher self and your soul, and you will find the answers. You are not alone. You are not going through this alone. So many light workers are going through everything that you're going through. Everybody on the planet is going through it, but in different levels. That's when we say different levels of consciousness. It's a different level of knowing and understanding. I had to go through all that with my family, and I had to finally like divorce my family, right? Because I was just like, enough. Because verbal abuse and emotional abuse and mental abuse is the same as, they might as well have just been pummeling me every time they saw me. And I wish they would just fucking hit me, right? Because that would heal. But words and energy and, I can't even fucking imagine. Like when I would put myself in the position of my family, I literally can't imagine being like, so they're just going to stay there. And I could tell the other family members that were too afraid to fucking say anything. I can tell they were like, I even said to my mom, I'm like, at first I was just like, okay, I don't really care. But then as everybody was getting ready, it was weird. It was really weird. It was really weird because I was staying with other family members and they were all getting ready. And I'm like, they're like, what are you going to do? And I was like, actually, you know what? It's really good. I'm like, I'm kind of on overload with people, right? Because I'm an empath and we have such a huge family and everybody, we were all like in the city of Chicago and staying at this fancy hotel. And it was like a black tie wedding. It was like really beautiful. It was awesome. But in the end, I was really grateful that I didn't go. Because even though I probably would have had a really good time, I had just as good a time the next day at the wedding. And I had so many people that they don't know I'm a telepathic medium, or maybe they do and they don't really understand what I am. But there were so many people that like, I could feel their energy, like they wanted to like me. And they were like, I even had one person that was like from the groom side that was like, wow, I heard such horrible things about you. I'm like, what? They were really drunk and we were in the bathroom and I only smoke weed. So I was like, oh, really? And I was like, oh, I can imagine. And they're like, but you're so awesome. They're like, you're so awesome. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, that's really cool. But it was weird. It was like, that's what it was. And it's funny because at first I was like, well, I'm just going to be kind of quiet and I'm not going to, I'm just going to sit back and hang out with my other family members. But instead I started dancing and I never stopped dancing. And I danced like the whole wedding. I had a fucking blast and I didn't really care if they liked me or they didn't. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep this memory for myself. I took pictures and video because I knew in that wedding, I was like 99.9% sure that I was never going to talk to my family again after that. But I just so I took all these pictures and video and some family gave me like shit, they were just like, why are you doing this? And I was like, I just want it for memories because I live far away and I don't know when the next time I'll be home. That's just what I said because it's true. But, it's interesting now because that was like 6 or 7 years ago. I don't even know now. I think 7 years ago, coming up on 7. And now I'm just like, I'm so glad I went. I wouldn't trade it for the world. 34-24. I wouldn't trade it for the world. But at the same time, I got to see who everybody really was, So once you see something, you can't unsee it. And I would never ask you, and Spirit would never ask you to do anything that we didn't believe you could do or you weren't capable of. So if you want to be happy, and for some of you, I keep going back to this couple over here for the Dare to Be Happy. I feel like for some of you, it could be a relationship, like my relationship, when this person was saying to me, like, I can't believe you're still with them, after everything they did to you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, they didn't really do it to me though. I'm like, they did it to themselves. It's their addiction. It's their stuff. Like, they had a horrific childhood and a traumatic childhood, and they're still working through that. And they were going, through therapy. And I was like, what is love? What is love if not to like be there when people are going through the worst time in their life and going through the hardest time in their life, When someone is genuinely trying to be a better person, I will always, or better soul or whatever, whenever they're working on themselves, I'm always going to give them a little more slack, because I want to support them. But when people are talking, and if this is you, then listen up. But if you're like doing spirit work and you already know this about yourself, that you're a light worker and all these things, but you're just not doing it with integrity, then this is your like wink, wink from spirit and from the dragons looking you in the eye saying like, you need to fucking stop. Enough. And if you're like lying to yourself, like, oh, I can eat these chemical foods, I can eat these processed foods, I can put these chemicals on my body, I can blah, blah, oh, it doesn't mean anything, oh, blah, blah, it does mean something. But also listen to yourself. When spirit sends me down, I call it the junk food journey. When spirit sends me down the junk food journey, even though it's organic and as healthy as I try to get, it's still processed food. When I'm not eating whole foods, I know that is my inner child that is screaming to be seen, because one of my addictions, well, I don't call it an addiction anymore, but growing up, food was really a difficult thing for me. I had a very unhealthy connection with food because of the way I grew up. And, the men and the women were like obsessed with their looks. And I grew up with the obsession of money, looks, and control and power. A lot of us did. So if you grew up in a household like that, now it's like the way I live in my life, a lot of my family and people would probably like feel sorry for me. They probably talk smack about me and they're like, oh, how sad, blah, blah, blah. Because there was a time where, quote unquote, I had it all. I had the vintage high rise with the doorman in the city and, just had this beautiful, magical life on the outside. But on the inside, I was struggling. I was working 2 jobs and going to school, trying to support this lifestyle in this world. And it just wasn't working. I was trying to, on the outside, I was great. One of my dresses made it on the cover of a local newspaper in Chicago. I won a contest and look at me and my accolades, right? Ego, 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 ego. But the truth was I doing it for me or was I doing it for my family? Was I doing it for everybody else? So, I love that this particular subject is about taking action and they're running. It's like, spirit's like saying, which wolf are you feeding? What are you running towards? Are you running towards happiness? Are you running towards regret? I heard one more. Look at this. Look at this. Be courageous. Number 8. So I'm going to put be courageous in front of get over yourself, because once you see past all that bullshit, once you see, and also this could be for some of you, or I feel like for some of you, like this is a relationship thing, but then for some of you, I'm kind of getting like, yes, it's fine to stay in your relationship, but don't forget that like you need to do this on your own. Your partner can't save you. Only you can save yourself. And this isn't about saving so much as getting over ourselves, disconnecting. We all have ego. We need ego to survive. But there's the ego that, is also tied to our intuition that tells us, what's good for us, what's not so good for us. And then we have the ego that's like, I know that's not really good for me, but, you buy that dress or that pair of shoes or, piece of clothing, anything that you're like, oh, this is so awesome. You fall in love with it and you see it's the only one on the clearance rack, right? And so you grab it, and you go to try it on because you're like, oh, that's kind of my size. And it's too small. But you buy it anyway. And then you berate yourself to get into it and you try to lose weight and you know what I mean? And then what does that do? That takes on a whole other facet of your life. One minute you loved yourself and everything was great, and the next minute you are like, I need to diet to get into this dress. I need to, lose weight to get into this jacket, like whatever you align with, But you know what I'm saying? I don't know if you get where I'm going with this analogy, but Spirit's saying, like, be courageous enough to say, that's really cute, but it's not for me. That's for somebody else. You need to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, because something like that could like really fuck with you. You could go from having a really great life to like the next several weeks, all of a sudden it's like you don't think about anything but like maybe you're getting this outfit for a party or a wedding, or you know what I mean, something like that. And yeah, if you want to lose the weight and it feels healthy to you, do it. But if it's like a crazy timeline, if it's like you have 10 days to the wedding and you're trying to lose like 20 pounds to fit into something, like that's just not, like, let it go. Spirit's saying you have to learn to let it go. And I feel like this is, for some of you, that's a really hard part for you, is it's hard for you to let certain things go. But Spirit's saying have the courage to do it. Invest in your spirit, not in, this was on the bottom of the deck, number 9. And interesting that that's 8 and 9. And I feel like this is an old energy, right? Like 2024 was an 8, 2025 is a 9, and 2026 is a 10. And 10's, again, about completion and new beginnings. So Spirit's saying if you want to invest in something, invest in your spirit. Because maybe you're like, oh, this is so awesome. But you go to the next shop or you buy that. So you leave the stores, right? But if you had just gone to the next shop, you would have found something even better that fits you perfectly and you look beautiful just the way you are. Stop trying to fit into a mold. Stop trying to fit into, whatever. It's time for you to like invest in you and invest in your spirit. I think that's it. You guys got a lot in this one. Because it's like, where do I take action? Well, this is it. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? Do we want to do any channeling, or do we have any messages from either deck or the dragons? Nope, that's it. All right, reading 1. I hope this helped you in any way. And if you'd like to work further along your path with a light worker, a healer, anything like that, you can either reach out to me, or also we have a My Community section on this channel. It's fairly new. If you are a subscriber, you can promote yourself on there. Now, mind you, remember that I'm a telepathic medium. So if you're doing it, just, you know what I mean? Like, do it for the right reasons. But also for those of you that are already light workers, like maybe you can do a trade with somebody. I do trade as well. So I, of course, I have a sliding scale. So reach out to me and we can work that out if you want to work with me one-on-one, because I'm more than just a medium. I'm also a spiritual guidance counselor. I'm a Reiki, so whatever, like whenever I work with someone one-on-one, I literally like say to Spirit, like, what are we going to do today? And I do recorded readings as well. They're like much less, and some people don't want to work one-on-one with me like over the phone or through Zoom, but they like want a personalized reading. That's where the recorded readings are really cool, because it's all about you. And you can send me your questions and all that good stuff, more detailed. But most of the time, Spirit just gives it to me anyway. People be like, you like answered all of my questions, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm like, I didn't even look at your questions actually. And they're like, what? I'm like, no, I'm like, Spirit, because Spirit knows, right? So anyway, those are your messages. And if you'd like to contribute anything to this channel, I have a Venmo, and I have, for now, I have an Amazon wish list. I don't know if Spirit's going to keep that or not, but for now I have those. And remember that prayers are free. So it's all about the exchange of energy for both of us. Thank you for being here today. And for the new people, we're so glad to have you here, and we hope you stick around. And for those of you who keep sticking around, thank you for the support. And every Sunday, as of now, at noon Pacific Standard Time, we go live and we sit with Spirit on Sacred Sunday. Okay, so I will see you next time. Take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much. Blessed be. Aho. Bye. Welcome, reading 2. If you chose this beautiful purple dragon, you, with the yin yang, you chose balance. So in this first quarter moon energy, where do you need to take action? So let's hear from the dragon first, and then we will move forward. And we're going to be working with this deck as well. It's called The Answer is Simple. You know, I might put the flashback on. I had it on and then it got really nice and sunny. It's a cloudy day where I live. So the Answer is Simple deck is really beautiful because it's about the ego. And the greatest part about that is the dragons have no ego. And look at that. Look at where the light is. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's on their heart chakra. Okay, so it looks like something's going on with your heart chakra. So let's talk with balance. Now, balance, all of these dragons come from different dragon clans, and your dragon that you chose is the Earthwalk dragons. So we have all different types of dragons, but you chose the Earthwalk dragon, and it's number 1 in the deck. So interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. I feel like 2026 is going to be a really good year for you guys, by the way. That just came through. As long as you lead with your heart chakra, I just heard from Spirit. So let's jump in and hear what Balance has to... Let's hear the advice and where to take action from Balance the dragon. Okay. This dragon Balance depicts aspects of us as a whole, our light and shadow sides. As humans, we show the world our many different sides, for we are multifaceted and can change from situation to situation. These aspects could include our compassion, frustration, love, irritation, joy, and so on. Balance appearance in your spread today is to remind you that everything is perfect, even if the situation you find yourself in is pushing your buttons. Balance says, fear and frustration only serve one purpose, and that is to disempower. Life on earth is all about achieving a personal equilibrium, seeing things for what they are, balancing your daily activities and demands with time to laugh and play. You run the risk of becoming too serious and caught up in the dramas that are unfolding in your life now by not allowing yourself time to play. You can call upon my energy and wisdom to guide you to be more balanced in how you view or feel about your situation. You cannot have darkness without light, the sun without the moon. Do you need to learn to say no, or to look at your personal boundaries? Are they being crossed too often? Maybe you should say yes to things which, although they make you fearful, will assist your personal and spiritual growth. Remember that what you are experiencing in your life now is transitional and it won't last forever. This, like much of life, is a phase, a lesson, and it too will soon pass. If you find yourself in a perplexing situation, ask for balance, wisdom to be bestowed upon you. Balance will guide you to understanding, to know in your heart what you can do, or indeed, if you need to do anything at all. Sometimes all that is required is patience. Also, balance is a divine masculine energy. So maybe Spirit's trying to call on you using the yin and the yang, meaning like yin is like the divine feminine and the softer side, and yang is the divine masculine, the more rigid side. And so I feel like, if you were called to reading one, you might want to go in there. It's a little bit of a tongue lashing, but it was necessary, because sometimes we don't realize that by not setting our boundaries, it's showing the universe that we don't love ourselves, that we don't value our own opinion, and we don't value our own path. When we're getting too wrapped up in like what people think, or, getting wrapped up in the ego. Let's hear if we have any additional messages from Spirit. Oh, interesting. Number 51, turn back. Look at that maze. I don't know how they're going to have me do this. They had me do it like this in the other one, but they may not. Okay. So let's see what that means. I'm going to pull more, because I'm like, it's like, it said that, and then I got like a blank slate. Okay. So turn back is number 51, which is also the number 6, and accept love is number 39, which is also the number 3. And interesting because 3, 6, 9, like those numbers are really powerful to the collective this year, like super, super powerful. Accept love. So maybe this is something that you're struggling with, is accepting love. Maybe not just from others, but from yourself. Balance is like, I've got room. Interesting. I went to a female voice after I just told you it was divine masculine. And look at this. You're not going to lose anything. Did you ever notice that the people who bitch and complain the most about money are the people who are the tightest with their money? And the people who always give, always receive. And it may not be in the way that, maybe they want, but I'm hearing gratitude is the attitude that you need to have. So if you want to take some action in your life, yes, the balance, but it's about gratitude. Because I feel like for some of you, like, and it could be too, like maybe you were on like a certain path, you know what I mean? Like maybe you were on a certain path or trajectory, and then all of a sudden you're like, when you started going down that path, it felt good. It felt right? But like time goes on, years go on, and now you're like, what? Like I had that recently in the last few weeks. It's been fucking crazy, like crazy. I've been having so many breakdowns that led to breakthroughs. And then I woke up one day and I just like kind of was like, I'm done with this shit. It's like I woke up and I didn't know where I was. I'm like, how did I get here? What is happening? And it was like I just snapped out of it. And I feel like a lot of people, if you found yourself here, welcome to the new people and welcome back to those of you who keep coming back. But even if you've never seen a reading in your life and this is your first reading, it's like there's something inside of you that's always known that you had a higher purpose, that you were meant to do something, really profound. And maybe you've been in the third dimensional energy for so long, and now you're waking up and you're like, I don't want to be a part of this world, or I may love, these people, or I may have loved this job, but I can't even I can't go there anymore. I've had people who are like, I love my job, but I can't work. I can't stand my coworkers. I'm like, well, you're in the wrong place then. You could still love your job and, be with people that you love too. It's like, if things aren't aligning, let's put it this way, Spirit, I feel like some of you are like, oh, I went wrong. They're like, no, stop looking at it that way. Because every path you take, it's either, I just heard something recently and it was so awesome. It was something like, it's either a reward or it's a lesson or something like that, but it was much more eloquently said. And basically they were saying like, it's all in the way you look at it, right? Because even if you're quote unquote in the wrong place, it's like you're not in the wrong place because you're learning and you're growing and you're stretching. And maybe the boundary thing is that you're not speaking your truth. You're not saying what you need to say. You're not leaving the places and the peoples and the things that you need to go away from. Sorry, all out of nowhere I just got really itchy. So I don't know if some of you are like, I feel like some of you, like, it's almost like you're allergic when you get around certain people, places, things, maybe even a job, or like it was fine for years but now it's starting to bother you. This came up in one of our group readings recently. I like quoted from Overboard, the movie Overboard, the original one with Goldie Hawn, where he's like, but honey, it never bothered you before. And she's like, well, it bothers me now, right? Like, so it's like, because it doesn't matter that she had amnesia and she couldn't remember where she was and they were lying to her about who and what she was. Her fucking instincts and her intuition knew this was not for her. She knew it wasn't her place. She knew that she needed to be anywhere but there. Even though she was starting to like it and she was starting to fall in love with kids and like, all that and him, at the same time, right? She instinctively knew that she didn't belong there. So if you're finding yourself in, groups, and I watched this movie recently, if Spirit calls me to, I'll put it below, but there's never any accidents. I always kind of say to Spirit, like, show me, what I need to see right now. And there was this independent film called Miss Arizona, and it is so fucking good. And it shows how one day changed this woman's life. One decision, one time that she said yes to something that she wouldn't normally say yes to, changed everything about her. And she went from being like this beauty pageant, beauty queen, pretty perfect trophy wife, whatever, to I don't want to give it away because it's such a good movie if you watch it, but and there were so many good actors in it, so many good actors. And I love when independent films like pull like big actors for like small little seconds in the movie, and you're just like, dude, you're awesome that you did this movie, because it was so good. It was such a good message, and the story was good, the acting, and I mean the quality, right? Because independent films, you're not going to get a big blockbuster perfect and music and everything, but like the acting and the storyline was so, so good. And it's like she went from like not wanting to do this charity thing, you know, but she was pressured into it, peer pressure. She was peer pressured into it, but in the end it would actually saved her, because it's like she went from that to like hanging out with drag queens, and that's not something she would ever do. But they changed her, and one fucking day, in 24 hours of her life was completely changed, and she was never going to be the same again, because she woke up, because she realized that life and that it was not working for her. She's like, this isn't me anymore. She's like, I don't even know who I am anymore. And all of these people, these strangers from all different walks of life, ages, cultures, they all like helped her to become the best version of herself. And in the end, she found her purpose, and it was so fucking cool. So like they said, don't be, 5533, that's your angel number. Work with 5533, which is also the number 16, which is also the number 7, and everything goes in cycles, right? So find that balance, accept love. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to love yourself first. Balance the dragon, like they're just reminding you who you are. They're just showing you how special and beautiful and vulnerable. Like your vulnerability is your strength. It's not your weakness. And I love that the light is here, because I feel like Spirit is trying to show you, like, once you get grounded and balanced, everything's going to make sense. And sometimes we do have to turn back and start over. I mean, I spoke about this in reading 1. I'd gotten to the pinnacle of like what I thought my life was going to be many times. I'm in my 50s. And then it's like, now it's almost like I'm reliving certain parts of my life that I tried to avoid or I tried to escape. And karma came for me too, because she never forgets an address, and she's always going to show up. So, this could be time for you to, focus on yourself, and maybe the boundaries is telling people, no, I'm not going to go to that party, or no, it took me years to like do this, by the way. I didn't come out of a box like this. I didn't even become a medium until I was in my 40s. Even though I always knew things or always had a feeling, people just thought I had intuition or just had good intuition, but nobody wanted to call it what it was. And also why, no matter what job I did, people would always come back to me, because I didn't know at the time exactly what I was, but I was really good at reading a situation and helping people make good choices. And I can't tell you how many times people will be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I was so lost. And you're right. I did that one thing and it changed everything. So here I am as a guide, for this, a mouthpiece for the dragons and for your higher self, to tell you that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're doing a really great job. You just need to get shit in balance. And also, I'm really being pulled down to the crystal ball down here. So it could be for some of you that you've been running away from your purpose. Maybe you see things and things, like scrying, maybe, whatever it is, because I feel like there's so many of you with different stories, but I want to see if Spirit has any more. Do you have any more for reading? Do we have any more messages for reading too? Okay, number 21, be patient. Okay, if you watched reading 1 or you saw the like opening picture, you will see that this little snail was not there. But when I was setting this up, your altar up, the snail wasn't in any of it at all, and they wanted to come in. So, I know it fucking sucks. I get it. I understand. We're all going through it, right? Like, we want it all right now. We want it all up front. Look at this. This is a rose quartz mushroom. So for you, it's about loving yourself. And once you love and accept yourself for who you are, everything is going to make so much sense. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Everything is going to make so much sense. I feel like they want to go this way. Hold on. Oh, you may have another card come in, because I feel like they're like, no, keep it there. I'm like, okay. Just be patient, Take it one step, one breath, one moment at a time. And a lot of the old third world energy, it's funny. Funny, not funny, haha, but funny, interesting. The fifth dimensional energy goes really quickly. If you haven't noticed, everybody's like, oh, it's like time sped up. Yes, it did, because we're out of third dimensional energy. We've been out of it since the late 60s, but it takes at least 100 years, sometimes more than that, for all of the energies to kind of, align. Old paradigms have to fall apart, old worlds have to fall apart so new ones can be built. So, Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say, right? So give yourself and spirit some slack, that it's going to take a minute to get there. I felt like balance wanted to, I'm like, I feel like we don't want to cover balance. They want, because that's you, right? Like, that's you. You're regal. And see how balance is kind of sitting? These aren't mistakes, right? I don't just like pull cards like randomly and like, oh, let's make a story out of it. It's like, that's why I like pulling cards live, because people can hear, I guess I can fake it or whatever, but I'm not. But I feel like this is a wink wink from spirit. Like, you got this. It's about working on you. You want to jump ahead because and again, if you're new to your gifts, it's that natural control, right? Where like, you can feel it. And so you're like, I want to do it. And it's, you're feeling the fifth dimensional energy. You're like, yeah, let's go. But you're still kind of like one foot in like another world. And until you fully pull yourself out of the third dimensional world, you won't really be able to have those experiences. I notice it every time I leave my house. After I do these readings today, I have some errands to run, and I've already been, kind of like thinking in my head like what I need, because I want to be able to get in and get out. Although most times it's rare, and I think maybe, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, like 1% of the time I go out, I don't do spirit work. But almost every single time I go out, no matter what I say, no matter what happens, somebody, something, somehow will come into my orbit, whether it's medicine for me or I'm bringing the medicine for somebody else. But, because birds of a feather, we stick together. And the area that I live in, my partner said this recently. They're like, man, I really noticed recently, like with all the protests that have been happening all over where we live. We live in Olympic Peninsula in Washington State, and it has a bunch of small little towns, but there's no like big cities or anything. It's like 10,000 people is a big one, So he was just saying, like, he's a mobile mechanic and he drives around all over, he goes up to an hour all over the peninsula. So he'll even cross the water in the Puget Sound and go to Seattle if the money's right and it's a big job or something. But he was like, he said it gave him so much hope of how many people were protesting. He's like, that's really, 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 really cool. And he's like, I feel like half the people up here are for the American president and half are against. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, but I kind of feel like that's everywhere. But I feel like the protests are showing people that like, you're not alone. There's a lot of people like you. You know what I mean? Like, it's about being grounded. I love how this is where this rock wanted to be too, right? Like this rock is like underneath the slide, like showing you that it's grounded and it's safe and it's okay to go down. And it's like, you're like, but I don't know where I'm going. And for some of you, you may, a lot of people right now, you need to go back into the shadow. Do you notice like how it's a different color from the outside of the slide? Like the whole slide's probably the same color, but like, right, but it's getting shadow from like the sun's coming from this way. So I feel like for some of you, you need to slide on down through the shadow, but know that spirit's going to catch you and that you're going to be grounded. And we've got this fire agate here, and yeah, it's going to be a little fiery, but we also have a Lemurian crystal. So some of you may be feeling your Lemurian roots. I'm hearing keep beautiful shiny things around you. Maybe it's time for a makeover. Do different hair, different makeup, something. I did that recently. I was actually getting ready to color my hair, and I ended up getting ready for something else. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of happy with where I'm at right now. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, I bought this like how long ago? Like seriously, like a few months ago when spring came, I was like, oh, I think I want to, color my hair. I was looking at pinks and purples, and I was like, I want to be pastel-y. And it just never really happened. It never really came together. And then when I finally woke up out of my, my mourning, I've been in mourning for like almost a year. It was like first my partner and I separated, and then my mom passed in August, and then my best friend, my familiar cat, passed away at the end of January. And so I didn't even realize like how much I had gone into like this depressive state where I just couldn't really function. And then the more I started working with my shadow, it's like I woke up out of it and I'm like, no, I don't want this right now, or this doesn't feel right, you know? So going through the shadow, it helps us really figure out who we are, where we're going, and how to really love ourselves, you know, and loving the quote unquote mistakes we made, because it's never a mistake. It's just a lesson. Let me see if we have any more. I feel like I've been feeling like we want at least one more card. So let's see what Spirit wants us to do here. Okay. Oh, interesting. So for some of you, this was at the bottom of the deck. So you may want to go look at reading 1, because this was in reading 1 and I've shuffled. So it's also number 26, and patient is number 21, which is also 3. Look at this, 3, 3, 9, 6. But you can't jump to 6, right? Like you can't go to 9. Like you need to go 3, 6, 9. So they're saying stop trying to get ahead of yourself. Look at this, number 55. Thank God. Was this you or reading 1? Somebody had 55. It was either 1155 or something with 55. So this may be a message for some of you as well. And again, was this at the beginning of yours, at the other reading? Sometimes they run in together. But gratitude, the attitude is gratitude. If you really want to see some change in your life, you want to take some action, thank Spirit every single day. Every single day. Say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thank Spirit and I pray every day, all the time. And it makes such a huge difference. I can feel it in my life. Even when I'm having a day where I'm like, oh, Spirit, oh, I hate you right now. Like I've said those words and I don't even use the H word, you know, like that's how I think of it. Like it's like a word you don't want to speak, because I love everybody. I don't hate anything or anyone. But when that's happening, that's my ego. And the answer is simple, is all about this deck, that's not the dragon deck, is all about the ego. And Deepak Chopra and a lot of other wise wizards over time have said that ego is just a beautiful acronym for edging God out. God, goddess, whatever you believe in, but like you get what they're saying, the analogy, right? So that's like you saying that you think you know better than the creator, you think you know better than your higher self, when this is a matrix system of like teaching and learning. Earth is just a school for the soul. So, you know, when you're presented with certain paths, right, you're going to take a lot of different paths to get there. But you're always going to end up at the same place. If you found yourself here today, you're a light worker of some kind. Whatever label you want to give yourself, or labels plural, you are a light worker, which means you are a light bringer, which means you are an anchor for Earth. And now is the time. Now is the hour. You have the strength. You have the power. This is the year of the snake. Snakes are about rebirth, shedding your skin, right? I've been inundated with snakes. I mean, I've done more landscaping in the last several months than I've ever done in my entire life. And that was part of the work trade for where we're staying in our RV. And I some days I love it and some days I hate it. But the one thing I love the most is that I have been visited by so many snakes and a cute little lizard. A lot of creatures, but like those in particular. And I've seen all sizes of snakes, and I've seen snake holes and I'm like, holy shit, you know, but I've researched it. There's no poisonous snakes anywhere where I live. But even so, you know what I mean? Even that, as much as somebody would be like, aren't you scared? I'd be like, no, because I know that like everything happens for a reason. I was bit by a Belgian Malinois recently, and that was because I was dealing with a sentient dog that was like, didn't understand me or what I was, or never met anyone like me since they've been alive. Like they're like 2 years old, I think, right? And their whole family are light workers and they're spiritually connected and all that. But sometimes we don't understand what's happening and we react. And the dog reacted. They went from looking and being happy around me, and then all of a sudden it's like we locked eyes, and they just were, I saw it happen. They were just so confused. They're like, what are you, or what's happening? And I'm like, I get it. Like, you're seeing yourself for the first time. We all play different roles in people's lives. But also, in reading one, we were talking about getting near water. So maybe some of you, it's time to take a vacation and get near water, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. We're in summer right now, so maybe it's time. But also, I'm getting from Spirit, the more you pray, they're like, your ship is gonna come in, right? You know that saying, your ship's coming in, meaning like the rewards. We all are. Our light. I just put out a shorts today on this channel it was a tarot reading, and it was really powerful. It was, if I can remember, it was the 9 of Wands and the 9 of Cups in reverse. And then, but it ended with the King of Wands upright. And I was like, basically, Spirit was showing us that all these hardships, all these blockages, all these things that were stopping us, right? And we're like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen, Spirit? When? You're like, I'm going as slow as I can. You're like, how much slower can I go? And Spirit's like, but it's because you're speeding up because of your powers, and your energy are speeding up, but you're still stuck in a lot of third dimensional energy. And until you face those, issues, whether it's inner child trauma or whatever, past experiences, it's interesting because this reading is about taking action. But we're getting a lot from Spirit about, for the light workers, to really release the third dimensional energy, because they're trying to help us, and they're trying to come in. They're like, but we can only do so much, right? Like, it's like with the dragons as well. Like, there's only so much Spirit can do. Even if you call on the angels to help you, they can help you, but they can't make you do it. Like, one of my favorite analogies for this is, I saw this interview with Oprah Winfrey, and they're like, wow, like, I don't understand. Like, you have all this money and you still struggle with your weight. And they're like, she's like, yes, and I have a personal chef, and I blah, blah, blah. And she went through this whole thing. And she said, but in the end, she's like, I can't pay someone to take my addictions away. Do you know what I mean? That's what she said in so many words. She said it very eloquently. She was just like, I can't pay someone to take the fucking potato chips out of my mouth. I can't pay someone to take that bottle of wine out of my hand. That's something she had to go through and do herself. And now, if you notice, like, Oprah looks good, and she looks the best she's ever looked, I think, even when she was really thin. I think because you can tell, like, she's dealt with a lot of those demons, and she's, I don't know what's happened, but it feels like she's found the balance, of like what works for her, what doesn't work for her. Also, the food industry has changed, the world has changed, the energy of the world has changed. You know what I mean? So, like, there's so many variables and different facets of it. So be gentler with yourself, be kinder to yourself, and be kinder to Spirit, to the Creator, because they know exactly what they're doing. And all of us are like little puzzle pieces, or like a chessboard, and it's like you have to play it at the exact precise time. If you get too ahead of yourself, checkmate, you're done. You know what I mean? So take your time, wait in line until it's your turn, and it will be your turn. I had something, I'm not going to say everything because I feel like Spirit's still working on my little miracles, but I have those moments too. I work my fucking ass off. I'm like, how much karma can I repay? I'm like, fuck, like, when's it my turn? You know what I mean? Like, Little Mermaid's been coming up a lot. It's funny, I just read something about the Little Mermaid right before I started these readings, and then it came up in reading one, or actually I think that might have been Frozen. I don't remember, but either way, we're getting Disney moments because, it's like it's all wrapped up in our childhood. Why do you think... oh, did you hear that? Thank you! Did you hear that? Was that a raven or a crow? Thank you. I love that. Do you hear that? So, I feel like I almost want us to... So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to play that back and see if it was a raven or a crow. But you might want to work with both of them. But the fact that they were so... I mean... if you could see how and where I live, like, they had to fly pretty low to, like, say that right now. And either way, they're about magic. So it's about speaking your truth, setting your boundaries, and remembering that you're a magical being having a human experience. You're not fucking human. You're not human. You may be in a human avatar. You may be playing the role of human on Earth right now in this galaxy, you know, but it's a big universe out there, and there's a lot of planets and a lot of different energies and entities. And we're going to see so many things change over the next year because the third dimensional is over. It was put here for a purpose, and now it needs to go. And some of them don't want to go, and they're going kicking and screaming. And they're like, I'm going to keep using my money. I'm going to keep using my influence. And they're like, yep, that's okay. But shit's going to get fucking real. So just stay in your lane, stay in your gratitude. Do we have any more messages? Let me see. I don't think so, but I did feel like someone was going to get another dragon. So let me just see if you have any more dragons. Okay, so no more dragons. Do we have any more cards that want to speak? Oh, this one. Dare to be happy. So reading one may not be for all of you. It may just be for one person, but this was a big part of reading one. But either way, dare to be happy. 26 is also the number 8, and 8 is the number of the dragons. It's about infinity. Time is a man-made construct. You only are feeling impatient because there must be people around you who are telling you that you should be somewhere else. Or you are telling yourself, but either way, it's a lie. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it's uncomfortable. And actually, if it's uncomfortable and you're not good, that's good. Because that means a big fucking change is about to happen in your life. So just hang in there a little bit longer. Keep up with affirmations. There's a lot of stuff on my channel right now. We've been doing a lot of stuff with affirmations lately. But the new moon and Cancer reading, since this is the first quarter moon reading, if Spirit calls me to, I'll put a link below. Always look in the description box. It's got all of my information in there too. If you'd like to, you know, work with me one-on-one, get a reading. I do recorded readings, one-on-one readings over the phone or Zoom. And also I have an Amazon wish list. I have a Venmo, so if you'd like to contribute at all, but prayers are free. So if that's not in your wheelhouse to do so, that's okay. That's not why I do this. That's not part of it. But it is nice. It does help pay the bills and keep the lights on, right? So anyway, with that being said, those are your messages reading two. I hope they helped you in any way. And this is at the bottom of the deck, and you're not really I'm not gonna go into it, but look at that. So maybe the monarch means something to you guys. So work with butterfly spirit medicine. You're done. Like, you're out of the cocoon, you know? And that's why some of you are so frustrated. I just heard from this transformation dragon is you're frustrated because you're like, you know, why do I have to keep going back? Why do I have to keep looking back? They're like, because all of the secrets to your success are in your pain and your suffering, because those are the roots that keep you from not being yourself. Those are that, you know, not holding your boundaries, not speaking your truth. It all comes from something. Don't let other people tell you who and what you are. I love you so much. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. Oh my gosh. So much has been coming through. It's unbelievable. So if you chose this dragon, you chose the healer. Number 26, which is also the number 8, and 8 is the number of the dragon, and it came up in reading 2 as well. So if you were drawn to reading 2, you may want to go and watch reading 1. But today we are working with the first quarter moon energy, and first quarter moon energy is all about taking action. And this is a message from Spirit and the dragons of like where you need to take action. When the dragons spoke to me and said they wanted to come in for this reading, I got so excited because, you know, the dragon path is no joke. I mean, it's really no joke. And so we have a lot of our tribe members that are light workers, healers, deep down believers in magic, all that good stuff. But not every one of our tribe members watch these readings. I feel like this, I can't tell if this wants to be in there or if, well, there we go. I was like, I feel like my eye keeps going to like certain things where they're like, they don't want certain things in there. So I'm gonna take whatever they want. I'm like, whatever it is, I'm here with you. So, I've been diving right into the dragon medicine. I want to zoom in just a little bit because I feel like they wanted you to see the big picture. Oh, that's pretty. But I was getting this like very natural nature, lots of green. You know, they said something, and maybe it'll come up again, but they said something like the healer, I forgot what they said. It'll come back around if it's meant to. Because when they said it, I'm like, cool, I'm going to start with that. And then like, it just like went right out of my head. So in this deck, there are 4 different dragon clans, okay? So you chose number 26, which is in the Guardian Dragons, and it's actually the first dragon in the Guardian Dragons. It's interesting because reading, if you were pulled to reading 1 or reading 2, they were the Earthwalk dragons. So that's really awesome. So maybe, you know, you're needing some grounded or getting connected. But that's not necessarily why, but if you were so inclined. But I just wanted to point this out in case you're interested in the deck as well. It's a really powerful deck. Anna, one of our other tribe members, and myself, we both have this deck. And I believe she blessed me with this deck. I'm almost positive this is one of the decks she bought me, or bought the tribe, you know. But if you don't have it, it's a really, really great deck. And you've seen me use it a lot. So I love working with the Guardian Dragons because, I mean, hello, the healer. They all have a different energy. And it's so interesting that they had me bring in today. We're using a companion deck to go further in our quest for knowledge. And we're using the answer is simple. The funny thing is that the answer is simple is literally all about the ego. And dragons are like the opposite of the ego. Also, I heard drink some water. So drink some water, get hydrated. They're literally like the opposite. It's like literally like the polar opposite. So it could be for some of you, you need to take action with your healing. It could be for personal healing, and it could also be for like maybe, you know, like working as a healer. So let's hear what they have to say, and then we will go into the answer is simple deck to get some like more in-depth answers. So it says, this gentle yet powerful dragon is a true guardian of all healers on earth. I want to see if they want me to, I'm like, do you want me to take the flash off? I felt like they wanted me to take the flash off. Okay. Oh, listen to the wind chimes. Sorry about the traffic, but the wind chimes are nice. This gentle yet powerful dragon is a true guardian of all healers on earth. He connects particularly with those who work energetically. He reminds us that although we may walk our talk, we may also need to heed our own advice. We are not a bottomless pit of energy and need to take time out now and again. His message is, I am the guardian of the healers. You are capable of great things on earth as a healer and as a light for others to follow. But to do this, you must burn brightly and throw light into the shadows of your world. You give a great deed to others. Ooh. I saw deed, but the word was deal. And when I looked down, it was 2202. Hi, Baba. Baba's been here a lot. A lot of you know my familiar passed about 5 months ago. And she was a dragon in another life as well. She was a cat in this avatar with me. But that's why we connected so strongly, because in my experience, like, I know I'm a dragon. Like, it's one of the, it was the first tattoo I ever got on my arm was a dragon. I've been like so connected to the dragons like since I was a child. I had an affinity for the Asian culture, but in particularly the dragons. I like the sweet dragons like Puff the Magic Dragon, but then I also liked the fierce, I mean, because they were just so powerful. So you may be somebody as well that's always been drawn to dragons, or you just love them, maybe don't have an affinity for them, but you have a natural respect for them. So that's interesting. But anyway, 222 was it was kind of like Baba's wink wink for me when she crossed over. Like whenever I saw 222, like to know that she was here, even though I could feel her or whatever. So she's saying you can call on her as well, like she's back in spirit form, so you can work with Baba as well. And Baba's really fierce. She is fierce, fierce, fierce. So I have to read that again because that was really powerful. Okay, so you have a great deal to others, or you give a great deal to others, but you must also make time for yourself. You need to rest and recharge your energy, because your energy tank requires refilling lest you become depleted. Make time to meditate, rejuvenate, to relax, and above all, to laugh. You may love your work, but it does not define you. You also need time to be you, a wife, a husband, a mother, a father, daughter, son, sister, brother, and so on and so on and so on, and any other role that you fulfill. So the healer reminds us not to take ourselves or life too seriously. If we do, we risk forgetting that we are just one tiny cog in the great wheel of life. You know, the thing I've been getting from Spirit recently is I've been focused, like laser focused on like my dreams and aspirations and goals. And like, of course, I've been doing spirit work every week. And just, you know, every Sunday we go live at noon Pacific Standard Time for Sacred Sunday. So like that's part of me. But then I've also been working so much on like my music and, you know, my other channel, Lula's Labyrinth, where I love to lip sync and act things out. But I started to realize I was becoming a little like obsessed with like I don't know if it was like an old memory or something. Like I just was feeling like not fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like, how do I explain this? Not that I felt empty, just that like the drive behind it was, oh, here we go. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, dragons. So the drive that I had behind my goals, I realized was a drive from an old version of myself. My goals are still the same. The things I still want to accomplish are very real, and they're alive. If you like I see myself on stage. I see myself, you know, and not just like older times when I did it in this life, you know, but Spirit was showing me that, you know, every time we see something and we love it or we are connected to it, it's because it's a part of us and it's there waiting for us. We just have to get through the things that we need to get through before we can get to them. But that reality is happening. We have to, it's dimensions aren't like, oh, you like step through a portal. I mean, you do technically, you know, but it's more like a metaphor. It's like you're stepping through the portal of your own consciousness to say, I accept this because I deserve this, because I want this. This is part of me. You know, that old saying, whatever you're seeking is seeking you. So like if you have a calling to heal people or work with people, then most likely that's what you're meant to do. And it could be anything from reading books on the internet to bring someone soothing comfort. It could be from creating music, maybe working with Hertz or some type of healing energetic music for people. You know, maybe it is acting. You know, people are like, oh, they're so shallow. They're actors and singers and all that. And it's like, yeah, but they're serving a purpose. You know, we all love music and movies and books and entertainment. And, you know, it's just as important as a doctor and a surgeon. And you know what I mean? And the healing, it could be Reiki. It could be maybe as literal as like, you know, a surgeon working on a body, you know. But everybody, or I should say, we've all been given this like kind of like this matrix, this false matrix though, right? Like, it's a matrix, but it's all in the way you look at it. But a lot of us have been given like this kind of false energy of the matrix, if that makes any sense. And so now each of us has to decide what we were, because let's put it this way, 10,000 people can all look at the same thing, but we're all going to have a different experience from it. 2727, which is also 99, and we're in a 9 year. You know, so I feel like it's just time for you guys to like let go of whatever is holding you back, this old like thought process, or maybe it's like this old narrative that you co-created with other people. I mean, look at how pretty this little image is, even with like from my curtain, you know. I'm feeling definitely like an earth energy for some of you. You have to, how can you heal somebody else if you're not healed? Right? Like they say, psychiatrists, it's literally like you can lose your license and not be able to practice anymore. Like if you have an affair with your client, like it's so frowned upon, right? Because it's like, that's fucked up. Like they're coming to you now, mind you, some people that might be how they meet. I don't know, but right. But you don't want to, you know, have sex. Like you're abusing your power and your privilege when someone is looking to heal. When someone is broken, you don't, you know, use that against them. So they're saying to be really mindful. This came up in reading 1 and reading 2 as well. So maybe this is like a wink, wink, you know, for all of us right now, is that Spirit just wants us to be very cognizant. And the dragons especially, they're like, you know, this deck is not a huge deck, but it has some really powerful dragons in it. And I was like, oh shit. When I saw the dragons wanted to come out, I'm like, what does this mean? And when I saw 4, I was like, oh no, please let it only be 3. I'm like, I don't think I can handle 4 readings today with the dragons. Not that I can't. It's just that like, I've been going through like a detox, and so I'm feeling a little weaker than normal. And I know that I can just pull in the energy, and you know, and I know they're always around me and working on me, but you know what I mean? I was just like, but the cool thing was is all the angels and the dragons that came through were all like super supportive. They're like, we're here to help you. They're not the ones that are like, hey, like get your shit together. Because there are some dragons in this deck that basically, in so many words, are like, get your fucking shit together. No, this is like this deck especially, and this, or excuse me, this card especially, the healer. They're like, no, they're just like, call on me to help you get through this. If you chose this dragon, you chose this particular dragon for a reason. That's why Spirit had me cover up the words and the numbers, because they wanted you to pick them by like which dragon you were drawn to. This isn't about like, oh, you know, I want this or that. It's like, no. So also I'm getting like a very meek energy from you guys. And I don't know what happened, but oh, there it is. Let me ask Spirit something. Hold on one second. I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so the vibe I'm getting now is we're going to go into the Answer is Simple deck. I just was feeling like something was really intense, you know what I mean? So we are in reading 3, Spirit. What messages do we have from, oh my gosh, get over yourself. So this is definitely, oh my gosh, they hardly ever have me read the book. I love this deck, but I'm not always a huge fan of, okay, so that's from reading 2. Okay, why are we, okay, this is interesting. All right, they're going to have me figure this out. Okay, so let's do this. Let's pull out a little bit. You know, sometimes I'll say to you guys, I know you want to watch all the readings, but you're not meant to watch all of them. You really need to pick one. This is one of those that it's not that. Let's put a little light on the subject. Oh, look at that. I wanted to put the light on it. It went back to the same thing. Oh, shit. So we're going to get into the book. So interesting that we have 1 card from reading 1 and 1 card from reading 2, and you're reading 3. So if you're drawn to watch readings 1 and 2, do it. If you're not, it's okay. It just means that there's at least one person that needs to watch them all. But I know a lot of our tribe members are like, I just watch them all. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, because I feel like I always get something from them, you know? So here's what Get Over Yourself has to say. The first step to living your spirit is to get over yourself. Meaning, get over your false self, your ego. It's time to become honest and stop the doomed effort to posture and present your ego to the world as the real you. It isn't. Thank goodness, because if you step back and observe for a moment, you'll feel what a high maintenance entity your ego self is. It is so high maintenance. In fact, that it leaves no room to focus on or be much aware of anything or anyone else beyond the most superficial level. Psychologists call it your mask. Sociologists refer to it as your conditioning. Alternative therapists identify it as your patterns. The Yiddish word for it is your shtick. It is, in other words, your self-defensive, artificial, manipulative, whatever you do, don't come too close or you might hurt me persona. We all have one, and if you're not careful, you might actually believe it's who you really are. Sadly, blocking your real light of spirit from connecting through. That's so, this said coming through, but I heard connecting through. So for some of you, it's coming through, but for some of you, it's connecting through. Like if you're a Reiki, you know, like, and you're working on another person, you have to remember that you're just the vessel. You're literally just the vessel between you and spirit, right? Like it's not like, look at me, I'm a healer. I mean, not to throw flowers at myself, but I'm a very fucking prolific hand-on healer. I mean, I have healed animals that were dying. Like I've had things happen at the, you know, I've just had things happen where people look at me strangely afterwards, you know, because they're like, what the fuck are you, dude? What did you just do? How did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. Because the truth is, even though I started as a Reiki healer and my Reiki master was like, you're meant to be a Reiki master, you're meant to be a Reiki master. I'm like, that may be true. I'm like, but not now. I knew I was meant to work on being a medium. I knew I was meant to follow. I would not listen to that. When people were pushing me into astrology, you're a natural astrologer, I was like, you know what? I know this is going to come off as ego, but some of us are just naturally good at a lot of things. That does not mean, right? It's like, what's that movie where she's like, I'm good in bed. Does that mean I should be a whore? Right? Because it's the truth. It's like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that it's your medicine. So that's why the lighting is coming in exactly the way it is. And I feel like the healer is almost giving you like the side eye, like, come on, like, you know who you really are. And some of you may be like hiding in something. You may be a Reiki healer, but maybe it's just for you to work on yourself. I Reiki myself. I Reiki other people. My neighbor's cat has been coming over the last few days, and I was like, dude, you want some Reiki? I'm like, do you need some help? He's been like going through some, health stuff, right? So it's like I worked on him and he left. I did tell him, that he came over here, but I'm not like, let me know if your cat's healed now. You know what I mean? Because in the end, I was like, actually, this is what they really need. They need more than what I can give them right now. They need X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? It's like it's such an ego thing to be like, oh, I'm going to, this happens a lot with parents and people with animals, I'm going to go through it naturally. I'm going to go through it holistically. That's awesome. But then there does come a time where it's like, you can Reiki somebody and you can pray over somebody as much as you want. But if someone has a gaping wound and they need stitches, no amount of what you're going to do is going to heal up that fucking wound. It needs to be sutured because they're in a human avatar. And that is how you heal the biological robot that you're living in, right? So it's like, so just be really, maybe you're getting an aha moment right now. So everybody has different gifts, and the healer is a different interpretation for everybody. I'm a healer, but I'm not like outwardly like, it's like, this is how I use this is how I work. This is how I'm giving out the medicine. I'm the medium. I'm getting the messages from other realms because that's one of my gifts and one of my powers in this avatar and as an earth angel, to connect with the other people, places, and things that you may not be able to see, or maybe you do, but you're not listening or accepting or whatever right now. So you're here to get the medicine. Also, I think it's really interesting that they had me flank the cards around the dragon like that. And look at how similar the color, they said I can do this, so I'm going to do it. Look at the coloring in both the cards. Earth tones, very natural. And also thanking spirit, number 55, thank God. And look at that. Number 1, get over yourself. And 55 is 10. So like maybe when you started, like you were more in the ego, and now spirit's like, yeah, but now you know better. And because you know better, right, we give all the praise to God. When people win awards and they're like, I have to thank God, and people roll their eyes, I'm like, if it's genuine, I will cry, because I can feel that they're like, they know that they didn't get there on their own. They know that, yes, that, like, look at Whitney Houston. She is still, will always be, as of this moment, one of the best singers of all time, just the way it rattled out of her. That was her natural gift. That's what she was made to bring to the earth. But she was a fucking drug addict, and it's like, Whitney would still be alive right now, if she, but she wasn't meant to. She was meant to come here and live that life, but also to show people that she had all these gifts in the world, but she couldn't stop. Or like with Oprah, like Oprah may have all the money in the world, but she can pay people to give her the best food or whatever, but she's the one that has to put the fork down. We have to stop giving our power away to other energies and entities and realize that, like, and when I'm saying that, I'm talking about like in the third dimensional realm, because anytime the ego is edging God, God is out. And so when we're not giving thanks, when we're not in gratitude, when we're not honoring our true selves, that's when spirit really steps in. That's when shit gets fucking real. And right now I feel like this is not a tongue lashing, but this is like a get real, be grateful. When you're working with any energies or entities, that are outside of the third dimensional realm, they are gifts, and don't get it twisted. You were brought here to do what you were meant to do, but don't get so lost in it that you forget your place. We are all cells of the same soul. None of us are better or worse. We're just at different levels of consciousness in this human incarnation on the planet. That's it. We're all the same. And we all, like some of us that come from the angel realm, we do have more gifts. That's true. But wherever we come from, there could be people or energies, whatever you would call them, other dragons that are way more powerful than us. So, it's a very fine line. It's a very slippery slope. And Spirit understands that. That's what they're saying. That's why they wanted me to read this from the book. So, in the first one, we spoke about the ego and when we pulled this card, but they also had me put it sideways. So I'm going to show it to you again. And if you don't want to go and watch reading 1, then I at least ask you to do this little thing that they had them do, because I think it'd be good for you as well, is your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to take 5 minutes and put it on your timer, even if that's what you need to do. And they wanted to go into the shadow right now. And I want you to stare at yourself in the mirror. Look in your eyes only in your eyes for 5 minutes. One of the first times I did this exercise, I fucking started out laughing like, this is so stupid. Why am I doing this? I can't believe I have to do this, And then by the end, I was like, right? Because it's like once you see your soul, you see past all that, because the ego is such a human thing, and we can get so carried away by the way we look, the way we talk, the way we act, our place in society, and, love me, love me, love me, and all this. We don't need all that. So stare in your eyeballs into your soul for 5 minutes and talk to yourself, talk to your higher self, and talk to Spirit and say, is there anything you want to show me? Anything you want to tell me? Also working in the dream realm, right? Like work in the dream realm. When you're dozing off to sleep, whatever is in your greatest desire, ask Spirit to show you how to achieve it, how to get there. Like, be like, send me one breadcrumb. Just give me one piece of the puzzle and keep giving me the pieces. You have to ask for help as well. Because if you think you're above help, you're not. And I'm not trying to be a dick right now, because this could be my reading too. I have these moments too. We spoke about this in one of the other readings where I said one of my first shamans that I worked with, I loved her. She was one of the greatest healers I've ever worked with in my life. But when we first met, I knew her over several years. And when we didn't talk anymore, I still watched her, like social media, like we still ran in certain circles and stuff. And a lot of it was because she was so young. She was, I think, 27 when I first met her. And then like over the years, like I even saw something of hers just some years ago. And I think she was turning 40 or something. And I thought, well, that makes so much sense, right? Like, because she was still young. And even if you wake up to your gifts when you're 50, it's like you almost go through that thing again, right? Like when you're young and you're like, look at me, look at me. It's like you see all these movies, where like the before and after, like the nerd, and then like they become popular and cool, and then they lose themselves, right? Because they're like all wrapped up in the ego and that, oh, look at everybody likes me now. Everybody wants me. I can get whatever I want. All these celebrities, we were talking about the P. Diddy case in one of the other readings, right? Like, I'm like, let karma do her fucking job with the sitting president and the big, what's happening in the world. It's all meant to happen the way it is. We're in the Tower card moment of history and humanity. Just keep your focus on yourself, healing yourself, working on yourself so that you can bring the healing to others. But at the beginning of this, remember, Spirit was also saying, for those of you who aren't going through this and you're just working with your healer, maybe you're on overload, and Spirit's saying that is your ego as well. Get over yourself. You don't have to save the whole world. That's why there's like millions of us on the planet right now. You know what I mean? There's millions of light workers on the planet right now. There's billions of people, but there's millions of light workers, and we're all little push pins all over the world, just bringing our light and anchoring our light. And that's what we're meant to do, to bring it back up to the fifth dimensional energy fully. We're in it. We all know it. We all feel it. And people know. So allow those people to destroy themselves. That's what they're meant to do. It's part of the purpose and their karma. And, they'll come back maybe, being a super loving, beautiful, where you're like, no, you were not that person in that life. And you're like, yep, I was, right? I fucking killed children in some of my past lives when I was really dark witch. Shit happens. We turn our souls. We lessons. We let the ego get the best of us. But the second you die and leave your avatar and you go back into your spirit form, you'll be like, oh wow, look at how much I learned. You know what I mean? That's what the Akashic record is all about. It keeps the checks and balances of the ebbs and flows of our soul. So I don't normally read all of this, but I'm going to read the Thank God one. Now this deck was written a long time ago, and the person was, I think, more on the religious side than the spiritual side. So if things come through, you may hear me rewording things. So this says, the ego focuses on lack and therefore creates it. The spirit concentrates on the endless stream of gifts God gives us and thus creates that. This is because the greatest blessing the divine bestows on us is the ability to create what we focus on. Pay attention to all that God, Goddess, Creator gives you, and you get more. Focus on lack, and you get less. Thank Spirit throughout the day, and you will be blessed with abundance. Offer gratitude to the Creator for just being alive, for the opportunities at hand, and for your challenges and the ability to find solutions. They're saying, like, have more fun with life. This came up in one of the other readings too about, you know, not being so fucking serious. Like, you've got to play too. It can't just be like work, you know, chores. There's got to be some play in there as well. So, give thanks for your health, your life, your family, and your friends. Show appreciation for your blessings before they arrive. Thank your Creator out loud for absolutely everything in your life because it is all a gift to you. The more you do so, the more you'll create. You know, when I first started working with all different shamans and teachers, one of the things that kept coming up for me was just how vast the universe is and how there are literally like souls that have been waiting forever to be human. It's a gift to live on earth. It's like, you know, you have to be quite something and quite powerful to make it here. And I don't know any more than that is to say that please treat it as one. Even the bad, quote unquote, bad days are there to teach you something. And remember that you have full power. You can change your life at any time. And if it's not changing and you're kind of in the same place, then just enjoy where you're at and find the joys and those things. That's what I've been doing. I've been living in a remodeled, a half remodeled home for like a year. Oh no, gosh. Yeah, a little over a year now. And then even like when we were doing a rent to buy with the cabin, it was like, wasn't fully done. You know what I mean? And I was like, what is this shit? You know, like, am I ever going to live in like a house that's like fully together? Like, I haven't lived in anything like fully together since I moved out of my apartment like 10 years ago. I've been in different RVs, actually big camper too. So basically for 10 years, I've been living in half remodeled homes. But it's also been kind of cool because it's forced me not to be like so stuck on just one thing or one place or one situation, or I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I feel like that would help you. So it says, thank your Creator out loud for absolutely everything in your life because it is all a gift to you. The more you do so, the more you'll create. The ego forgets to be thankful. Sometimes it goes so far as to feel deprived and entitled, resentful for the lack it's actually creating itself. It's all so ridiculous. The ego doesn't like to be bothered with thanking the Creator. It's too preoccupied with feeling sorry for themselves, but it will enjoy the benefits that come from doing so. So tell your ego to be quiet and learn what thanking the Creator can do. Your ego can discover how to attract flow and abundance if it joins with your spirit in giving thanks to the Creator for everything today. And it's also on page 116, which is also the number 8. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's see. Do we have any more messages? Oh, so good. Do we have any more messages for reading 3? I didn't think so, but I always like to go through the decks one more time in case they have anything. Oh, this was from reading 1. So if you were drawn to this dragon, now this isn't going to be for everybody, but it was called Aveberry Matriarch. Okay. So, if you were drawn to this dragon as well and you weren't sure, go watch this one. If you weren't, let it fly by. Honestly, it could be that you got what you needed from 1 and 2. You know what I mean? Like this was from 1, this was from 2, and maybe this is good. So don't make it your story if it's not your story. And that's a really important one that Spirit has been saying to us a lot. Hold on, let me see. Did you want any of these? Okay, there was one in the box, so I just wanted to make sure. But Sin Gold is really cool though. Sin Gold is a cool dragon, and maybe this is like one for you guys. Maybe I'll see if Spirit wants me to do a short with Sin Gold. We'll see what happens. But okay, let me see. Do we have any more messages, Spirit? Let me ask my pendulum. Do we have any more messages or channeled messages for reading 3 before we move on? Okay, that's it, you guys. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to contribute anything to the work I do on this channel, all of that information is in the description box, but also on my channel, you'll see it where it says, welcome witches, healers, and deep down believers in magic. And it is never, ever required, but it is always such a wonderful gift when I receive it. But prayers are free. Remember that. And that's part of the ego as well. You know, mine, I gotta keep, I don't have enough money to, you know, blah, blah, blah. But remember, even $5 can, you know, whatever you put out into the world comes back to you tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold, right? Depending on the situation and what happens. So, you know, everything happens for a reason. So I love you guys. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you at the next reading. Oh, and they wanted me to remind you that every Sunday, as of now, we are going live Pacific Standard Time at noon with Sacred Sunday, where we go live and you can speak with Spirit and speak with me one-on-one. All right, I'll see you next time, and I'll see you hopefully at Sacred Sunday. I love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 4. We now open the portal for you beautiful souls. Interesting, it was 149.48, but then it went to like 149. So 49 is also the number 13, which is the number of the goddess. So if you were drawn to any of the other readings, I highly recommend you go and look at them. So far, all 3 readings have had recommendations to look at other readings, so I wouldn't be surprised if you are meant to as well. So let's jump in. So we have the Gaia is, oh my gosh, and Gaia is number 30. That's why, look at your card, you chose Gaia, number 31. I apologize for the informality. I've been doing this for hours and like taking breaks and stuff. And so I'm like, I probably should have been like, oh, do a big intro for your card, but this is the way it's going. So anyway, if you chose this beautiful creature and the dragon, oh my gosh, I just realized something. Shite. I just realized something. They may look at this as naked. And I don't have any stickers or anything, so I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I am going to kind of put Gaia. Actually, I don't know if it's going to matter because I already had her out there, so I don't know how they're going to do this or if they're going to shit. Sorry, hold on. So hopefully they won't do anything with that, but if they do, I've done this with one of my other readings because I didn't realize it was a newer deck and I didn't realize that it had nakedness on it, and so I was like, oh shit. So I totally redid it and whatever, but so far Spirit has, or YouTube hasn't done anything, so hopefully it'll be the same. But I just was like, I'm like, is that her nipple? And I wasn't even thinking it like where I'm like, but that's why Spirit was having me look at it like that, because they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, it's so interesting. And it's so interesting to me too, because YouTube has some of the most messed up crap on there, but yet like fucking cards like this, like tarot cards and like oracle cards, it's like, or books, like if there's nudity in it, like you can't like show it, and it's like, all right, whatever. It is what it is. The human body is beautiful, but what can you do? And this is, you know, Gaia, so she's not even really human, right? I mean, she's human, or no, she's not human. She's an entity. She's the earth. She's Gaia. So let's jump right in. But interesting, but it's number 31 is what I was trying to say, and 31 is 13 backwards. So obviously they want you to work with that. And also look at how in the book, Gaia is 31, right? And then the next one is the Divine Feminine. So that's kind of interesting in the book. So I feel like, you know, this is Blessed First Quarter Moon reading, and this energy is all about taking action and like, where do you need to take action right now? So let's hear from Gaia. She says, the dragon Gaia is the earth keeper and carries Gaia's ancient knowledge deep within her. She is one of the oldest dragons yet to come to earth. I am the etheric body of your planet. I urge you to protect her and all who dwell upon her. I will guide you into restoring balance. What is done cannot be undone, and alas, some things are gone forever. Have courage to stand up for what you believe in. believe in your heart to be true, and I will stand with you. You can be that change. Call upon her support when you are working on a new project and need to anchor its energy fully. You can handle, oh gosh, this is weird, dude. This happens to me sometimes as a medium, and it might happen to you guys too, but sometimes like the words jumble up on the page, like Spirit's trying to tell me a bunch of things at the same time through like one sentence. It's really profound. Please comment below if this happens to you too. Am I the only one? Anyway, let's start that over. What is undone cannot be undone, and alas, some things are gone forever. Have courage to stand up for what you believe in your heart to be true, and I will stand with you. You can be that change. That's how I hear her voice in my head. So call upon her support when you are working on a new project and need to anchor its energy fully. You can invoke her wisdom with any form of group work. What? You can invoke her wisdom when any form of group work is taking place to anchor the collective vibration to the planet. Okay, got it. Make use of her grounding energy. She is also here now for help. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's not even hard to read, because you guys know sometimes I struggle with like my eyes, but it's not even that. It's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway. She is also here now to help ground the frequencies of the fifth dimension and above, which are coming into our consciousness. Gaia will guide us when we are ready to reignite the light of the Earth's grids. The deep healing this invokes will help Gaia and us as humans to build peace on Earth and a future that is sustainable. So, okay. That's so powerful. And when I was looking at this card, it's like, I didn't want to cover up Gaia, right? But it's like, Gaia is really the dragon. She goes by Gaia as well. So it's like we have Gaia, the earth, like goddess energy entity. And then we have Gaia, the dragon. So it's kind of like, see how she's touching her face? I can zoom in though. But see how she's like kind of touching her? It's like, it's that divine feminine energy. And they also want us to remember that, they're like, don't forget that, about the crystalline grid, they're like saying like, don't forget that these energies, sorry, I'm getting seasick. I just didn't want to take the dragon's wings out, but they're like, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's like this energy, this divine feminine energy is part of the crystalline grid. So they're trying to show us, like, if you just look at the surface of Earth, like if you look at Earth as like an energy and an entity, right? We know that she's round and, and what are rounds? Circular, like infinity. Dragons are all about infinity, the number 8. So it's like, it's a never ending cycle. But she's saying like, look at how vast she is. And, we only are experiencing this third dimensional experience on the outer realms. We're on the outside of Earth. But we know that there's like an inner Earth. There's proof that there are caverns and things that are like so far beneath the earth, and they're like, how the fuck is there a lake under here? You know what I mean? So they're saying, remember the magic of Earth itself, and that Gaia isn't going anywhere. This is like, this fear that they put around it, like, oh, we're gonna blow this shit up, never gonna fucking happen. It's just not gonna happen. And yes, we've had past where things have happened and blah, blah, blah. And people are like, brace yourself. But that's just the shadow that's trying to scare us, because they want to keep going. They like it. They like that energy, right? They were given free will, but they fucking went too far. And Gaia's like, and her shadow, right? She's like, do I got to cut a bitch? Do I got to put another fucking tornado out? You want to blow another, you want me to kill, do I have to kill another 1,000, human beings for you to stop it? You know what I mean? So, but every life, short or long, has a significance here on Earth, and we all play a part. Sometimes we're the villain, sometimes we're the hero. But Gaia, the dragon, is connecting with Gaia, the earth. And if you chose this reading, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to fight for Gaia like you've never fought for her before. And even if it's just in your own world, where you go, in your yard, or if you live in an apartment, maybe there's a forest you like to go to, or you know what I mean, where you go there and you're the guardian and you tend to it. You know, sometimes when I'm out in nature, I pick up garbage just because I'm like, you know, I'm going to pick up some fucking garbage. Of course, because of how I am, I have to go like wash my hands like 5 times because I'm like, oh, I touched garbage, you know. But I usually try to use gloves or something. But if I don't, but there are times where I like just go and, you know, I'm like, I just start picking up bottle caps. And I've been doing that lately because I've been the custodian. And I realize now, even with this now, this is my reading too, because I've done a lot of work trades over the last 10 years, but the one that I am on now, I am the groundskeeper. I'm the landscaper of this property, and I didn't know anything really about landscaping. 158.58 is the number 13 as well. So this started at 149.49, and so 49.49 and 58.58 are your angel numbers to work with. And if you're new here, welcome. And if you're coming back, welcome back. So you just go on your own search engine, and you know, a lot of you know, when I call off numbers, they're angel numbers for you to work with. And those of you who are new, and if that's new to you, you go into whatever search engine you use, and you know, you put in 5858 angel number, and then, you know, whichever one you're drawn to. There's always going to be a plethora of things that come up. But anyway, I'm realizing now the importance of me being the custodian of this property, and I'm constantly finding garbage, you know, because we live by a highway, so there's constantly garbage. The one day I went out there, I think I picked up like 10 cigarette butts, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know, like, what is wrong with people? Like, for those of us who love Gaia and are children of, you know, the creator, like we value and understand life on all planets and all solar systems in the universe, but Earth is so special. She's so beautiful. I mean, my gosh, it's like just from the trees to the animals to the mountains to the waters to the, you know, so we are nothing without this, you know what I mean? It's like we are born here and we die here. Like, our avatar will go back into the earth if you like to be buried or burned. It'll go into the ashes, but it'll end up somewhere, you know, land somewhere in the waters. And so it's like, when you look at it like that, it's like, that's how Gaia wants us to look at it, that we're all one. We really are all divinely connected. Even the way they had me put this picture, look at how, oh my gosh, I'm totally seeing what Spirit's seeing now. But do you see how I don't want to burn myself, but do you see like how their wing, I'm going to go out just a little bit, but do you see how like their wing is like going like this, and then also like this was going like this, and then it like goes to this, right? Like they're all connected on my drape, you know what I mean? Like all, like it's all connected. And so once humankind really understands how we are just really one, when they will really understand that, well, they will understand how precious this earth is, and how, you know, it's like everything will naturally fade away, because enough people will say to the billionaires, fuck you, none of us were going to buy your products. And like, it will get serious like that. This is a different, oh, look at that with the crystal. Do you see this? This is like another, like, you know, we are the second coming of Christ. Thank you, Spirit. Woo! We are Christ consciousness. If you found yourself here today, if you found yourself on reading 4, we are all Christ consciousness. People, religions, they're waiting for like this fucking Messiah to come. We are the Messiah. We are the Messiah. Jesus, we are Jesus. Jesus is us. That's all he was ever trying to say. He's like, I'm just preaching what is like fucking natural. We should love each other. We should, you know, Adam and Eve, when they talk about like the creation of man, no, the creation, I feel like the Bible of like Adam and Eve is more like the creation of the third dimensional energy. Right? I mean, from the get-go, the woman was the fucking, you know, devil. She was the demon. She ate the apple. But we know like apples and spiritual meaning are actually like the fruit of the earth. It's like, there's so many beautiful meanings in the apple. And she was like, yes, we're supposed to eat it. It's here. And they're like, no, we're not supposed to eat it. If we eat it, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's like, then it was like fear right there. It's like fear was born. And Spirit is trying to show us like, exactly, fear is a man-made construct. So step the fuck out of it. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to work with Gaia, work with Spirit, and say, I'm sorry, number 29, which is also the number 11. So for some of you, there's a lot coming through, so I'm going to wait. When we're not just working with the Dragon Path Oracle, we're also working with The Answer is Simple, which is so funny because The Answer is Simple deck is all about the ego, and dragons are like the opposite. Dragons don't have any ego. They have knowledge, they have, you know what I mean? But like ego is not their, that's, you know what I mean? It's just silly. It's just silly. It's like, it doesn't need to be there. I felt like our little crystal ball wanted to come in. Okay, so, oh, Bubba's been here with us the whole time too. You guys remember when Bubba used to come in on our readings? She's still coming in on the readings, but she's just coming in spirit form. But she just gave me pink. Just say I'm sorry. It's not the hardest thing to do. Just say you're wrong sometimes. And I believe you 'cause I love you. Just say I'm sorry. Okay, so it could be for some of you, your ego that's standing in the way is, and it could even be to spirit. It could be, you know, it's going to be different for all of you, but I did pull this one as well. Number 27, which is the number 9, let go and flow. Let go and flow. I feel like this wants to come over here. I feel like she wants to come over here. Oops, booby. Thank you, spirit. Boobings. Isn't that so silly? Because I can see her fucking nipple. That's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. I'm like, what about the other offensive things that I've seen on the internet? You know what I mean? Like way more offensive than her nipple. Let me tell you. Way more. I'm going to move this. Okay. So love it. Let go and flow. I'm hearing this full moon in Capricorn that's coming out. It's going to be really powerful for all of us. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, what was that TV show? It's the new Zoo Review coming, something for you. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I can't even remember the last time I heard that fucking song. So I feel like that's a wink wink from spirit. Like, have fun, let go and flow. You know, just when you see the oddities and the chaos that's going on on the planet right now, send it love, pray for it, and then go and do something fun. It doesn't make you an asshole because people are in war-torn countries. Remember, we all have karma. For whatever reason, they're there and it's happening. We are all in places where, you know what I mean? It's like, whatever you're supposed to go through is what you're supposed to go through. You know? I mean, do we want people to not suffer? Of course, we want everyone to win, but suffering is part of being human and it's part of learning. So, you know, don't run away from it. Also, I'm feeling like for some of you, whoever is watching this, your divine feminine, I feel like you're in the light of the divine feminine, but like your divine masculine still in shadow. So, you know what? Sometimes, I mean, lately I've been noticing with my partner when we're talking about certain things, I've been apologizing for a lot of things that have happened in our relationship that I didn't take responsibility for before. And I didn't realize because my ego is in the way, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm the right one. I'm in the spiritual. I'm in the, it's my level of consciousness, like whatever. It's so ridiculous. So, but I noticed just how much, like, I've been noticing like that they've been opening up more and more. And the more I apologize and the more I'm in gratitude for what I have, because that's been coming up in our readings too, today, that I notice that the more they are like wanting to like talk, the more they're wanting to be open. So use that heart chakra, focus on love, focus on healing, focus on moving forward, letting go, having fun, and going with the flow of the universe. This is a big fucking show. Just remember, we're all playing our little parts. And even though we're the lead character in each of our own movie, this is still one big fucking production, one gigantic show. Gigantic. There are so many people on this planet right now, and we're all going through different things at different times, but a lot of us are actually going through the same thing at the same time, but our stories are different. So it's going to affect us differently. You hear what I'm saying? So I just get this vibe from spirit to just really let go and flow. Okay, let me see if we have any more. The other readings were so much longer. Oh my gosh. Oh, I knew there was going to be another dragon. I was getting this vibe that we were going to have, that one of these was going to have 2 dragons. So yay, number 8. And what do we say? 8's the number of infinity. It's the number of the dragons. So call on spirit Call on spirit, call on great spirit, because that is what they are here to do, is to help us to get through and navigate all of these, these trying times. They're not easy, they're not easy for anybody. I always like to give the dragons their due. Dragons like presents. Spirit's like, yeah. Oh, and we give a little mushroom over here too for Gaia. Gaia can have her little mushroom. Okay, so I'm going to read spirit because I know that spirit is there for like spirit in general, Oh my gosh, you guys, I just opened up to it. That's when you know it's ready. Okay, so it says, spirit appears to us when we are gearing up for another steep learning curve Spirit appears to us when we are gearing up for another steep learning curve on our spiritual path. He connects us most strongly with those who have begun to work on themselves and are well and truly underway with their spiritual journey. His arrival frequently precedes those whose job it is to work for the planet and humankind. The dragon spirit connects with those in particular who have embarked upon the transitional journey of deep self-healing and self-understanding, and those beginning to recognize the bigger picture within the circle of life. Spirit reminds us that everything is interconnected. There is no separation. He says, there is no you, and as I separate... Oh my gosh. Boy, these have been hard to read lately. Today. Their energy is so intense. There is no you and I as separate beings. We are all one energy. Call upon my energy to support you as you prepare for the next step of your amazing journey. You will go through a myriad of shifts and changes, self-doubt, and euphoria as you embrace the next deep learning process. I am here to guide you through those shifts and changes. You are a spiritual being in physical form, and you have the potential to live a soul-filled spiritual existence on earth. You are truly awesome and your own creator. So embrace what is to come on the next leg of your journey. If you are feeling spiritually disconnected, lost, or simply overwhelmed, call on spirit to guide your way. Your job here is to watch and listen to your feelings, sudden flashes of inspiration, and as always, signs and symbols from the dragon clans. Although these are sent by the dragons, they can be subtle, so be aware and look out for them. Meditate with spirit and ask for his guidance to inspire and enlighten you. Oh, I love it. And I really think it's cool because the other ones, like if they said he or she, they didn't really call me to say it unless they had me say it. But this one was really cool because we have the divine feminine and the divine masculine, like I feel like they're on either side of you. And the say I'm sorry, I feel like that's like that song, like, you know what, let other people, you know what I mean? Just be like, hey, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to upset you, blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to say I'm sorry. Like, this is a very old deck and we've gotten out of the I'm sorry kind of thing. But this is more of like the, you don't have to apologize for yourself. But what they're saying is that, like, just when they're saying I'm sorry, it's like coming from an understanding that you're at a different level of consciousness than somebody you're dealing with, that you're having an argument with or a misunderstanding, or, and if you need guidance through family, friends, like whatever, the 3 readings before this were so good and so intense, and they were so linked. So if you were drawn to any of them, go check them out. If you're not, then this is your medicine, and stay here, and that's fine. I just want to see if we have any more. Do you want to pull any more cards? Okay. I feel like we're done. Let me sit for a second and see if we have any more channeled messages. Nope, that's it. I think you guys get the picture. Also, I think it's interesting that we have 29, which is 11, and 27, which is 9. So 11 is, the number of the angels, and 9 is the year we're in, 2025. And next year is 2026, which is 10, about completion. So we're going to see a lot of crazy stuff, chaos, shit show kind of energy over the next 6 months to a year. But I guarantee you by 2027, which is the number 11, it's going to be like, holy shit. And now the people that are giving us shit or whatever are going to be the ones that are going to be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't understand. And we're gonna be like, that's okay, because that's what the fifth dimensional energy is stepping out of the shadow ego that's ruling our thoughts and our actions, and stepping into the healthy ego that helps keep our avatar and our humanity intact. So those are your messages. I love you so much. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. And for those of you who don't know, every Sunday we go live at noon Pacific Standard Time for Sacred Sunday. It's different every week, so check it out. There's a playlist here if you want to kind of go and see what we do. Also, if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you'd like to contribute to any of the work I do on this channel, there are links for that as well, and my email address if you would like to get a recorded reading, or if you'd like to work one-on-one. I work on a sliding scale, so reach out to me. All right, you guys, take good care of yourselves. Blessed first quarter moon. Take that action. Now is the time. Now is the power. You have the strength. What did you say? Now is the time. Now is the hour. You have the strength. You have the power. So go do it. I love you. I'll see you next time.